Today we are looking at the Pisi Linux 2.4, or you can call it like Pisi Linux. So here is the boot menu of Pisi Linux 2.4 with the KDE Plasma desktop environment. So this is the independent Linux distribution and this is the latest version. So the country of origin it's from the Turkey, and here you can see all the language is in the Turkish. So I'm going to change the language first. Just click on F2, and if you are using in the laptop, then type in like a function plus F2 and it should be work. So here I'm going to choose the English United States, and here are all the options like a live boot and boot from the hard disk, memory test, hardware information and everything. So let me choose the once again F2. So these are all the languages available for the distro. So there are few languages available, and F4 for the graphical display and F5 for the kernel. So let's quickly boot it in the live boot. So there will be installer in the desktop itself, so you don't need to worry about anything about the installation. So it will be completely different in the bare metal. Right now I'm running it on the virtual machine, which is a VMware with a 60 GB of virtual disk, 8 GB of RAM, and my CPU is i5 1240p. So the user experience will be completely different in the bare metal when compared to the VMware. So you need to understand these basic things. VMware, virtual machine, virtual box, whatever it is, in the virtualization it will be completely different, and in the bare metal it will be completely different. So it says like a 6.6.56, that should be the Linux kernel version. So 6.6 is the long-term version or the LTS version of the Linux kernel. So the desktop environment, it says like a KDE 6. I don't know what version we are getting because I didn't try it before. So I'm booting it right now. And also the booting process will take a minute. So here is our desktop layout. So usually some distros will take a bit more time. Some distros will boot in just 30-40 seconds. So this is one of the distro which boots in just in a minute. So some distros will take a bit of time in the virtual machine, but in the bare metal it's going to be completely different. So that's the reason it's always a good option to try it on your own, and you should be getting all the information. So here is our desktop layout. So the version is Pisi Linux 2.4. Here is the code name. I think it's Karagül. I don't know how it's pronounced in the Turkish. So we don't need the code name. We just need the version 2.4 here for the video. So before touching anything, I'm going to show you the system monitor to see the resource consumption like CPU and RAM. So let me find the system monitor, and we can go through other things later. Let's first go with the resources. So I didn't open any of the applications, I didn't touch the settings or anything. So I just want to show you the base graph of the CPU and RAM. So it's consuming like a 1.1 GB of 8 GB of RAM, which I already mentioned that I'm using 8 GB of RAM. The available RAM will be around like a 7.7 GB. Here is the RAM, which is available 7.7 GB. And CPU is pretty much unstable, which is it's not pretty much stable, but it's still under 20%. It's okay. So in order to get the CPU proper graph, you just need to run like a 60 seconds. So these are all the information, like a host name is a Pisi Linux 2, operating system, here is the 2.4 Karagül. KDE Plasma version, you get the 6.2.0. Most of the distros are still using the 6.1.5, but you get the 6.2.0 in the Pisi Linux, so that's a good thing. We can even try whether the desktop environment is working properly or not. So the 6.1.4 version had some issues, CPU issues, and the 6.1.5 was a bit better. Now let's see how it's going to perform. So it's pretty much almost like a 20-15%. I think it's pretty much stable. So let's go to the applications. I'm going to show you the graph in the history itself. So it says applications view is unsupported on your system. Let's go with the history. So as you can see, the graph is pretty much stable. So the 6.2.0 KDE Plasma is going to be stable. So it's working properly. I don't have any heavy resource consumption in the CPU, as you can see here. So it's still under 20-25%, so that's still okay. Now let's go to the process. And after that, I'm going to change the display settings. So the process will take a bit of time here. So you need to have some patience. So it's a first boot, so it's going to take a bit time here. So you need to have some patience and everything should be working. So again, I don't know whether it's a well-known distribution or not, because I already made this PSI Linux in the previous in my channel. So if you're thinking of using this distribution, do your research. If you're satisfied with the privacy and if it's looking properly for you, then go with the installation. If anything had issues, or if you find this is like a suspicious Linux distribution, it's better to skip this distribution and go with the other distribution. So do your research. Don't blindly watch someone's video and trust blindly. It's your PC. You need to be very careful, and also it will be your privacy. So that's the reason. Do your research, get all the information. If it's worthy, then go with the installation, or else just skip this distribution. There are plenty of distributions available in the Linux market. And about the system monitor, so here is our system monitor, which is 6.2.0. So now let's keep it on the overview and keep the system monitor in the right side corner throughout the video. Now let's change the display settings. Let's change the display settings. Usually the VMware automatically changes the display settings. I don't know what happened here. So my monitor resolution is 1920 into 1080. So let me keep it like that with a 16:9 ratio. Let me keep apply. So this is the independent Linux distribution with the KDE desktop. So let's keep it like a smaller, and let's go to the official website. So before that, let me show you the pre-installed applications you get with the PSI Linux. So you just get the KDE Plasma desktop environment. You don't get any desktop environments for this distribution. And also there is another edition which is like a minimal edition. So right now I'm using the full edition. There is also a minimal edition. I'm going to show you everything in the official website itself. And also when you try to download the ISO file of the full edition, it doesn't allow you. In the source code they removed the ISO file. I don't know what's the issue. There is only minimal edition, but in their official mirror you can download from their official website. So you need to get all this information and then go with the installation. So these are all the pre-installed applications you get from the PSI Linux. So most of them are from the KDE Plasma desktop environment itself, and few applications like an installer, group rescue, and some other application will be from the welcome screen will be from the PSI Linux. Other are completely from the KDE Plasma desktop environment. The icons looks pretty much good. The color theming and everything is pretty much good. So that's a good work. So don't go with just the looks, always go with the stability and features and everything. So I'm just saying the common things which I'm seeing right now. So I just need to be honest here. So let's open the Firefox web browser. So it should be having like a latest version, like a 132. So that's the stable version of the Firefox right now. Let's see what version we get in the PSI Linux, because we already got the 6.2 version of the KDE Plasma. I thought it will be like a 6.6. The kernel version, I'm going to show you the kernel version later, but the desktop environment you get the 6.2. And the Firefox is taking ages. I don't know why. Usually the Firefox browser should take like a maximum of 15 seconds in the virtual machine, but I don't know what happens here. So let's go with the applications. You don't see the applications here. Let's go with the process. So here is our browser. So I thought it was like a kind of like a lag thing or something like that, because in the yesterday's videos of Linux Lite, the browser doesn't open. So if you didn't watch that video, you can watch that video, which is a Linux Lite 6.2 stable version. So I said every information in that video. If you want to check that out, you can check it out. And also I'll be posting 2 videos daily. So if I didn't have any topic, then I'll be posting a single video, or else usually I'll be posting 2 videos. So if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. And also there will be a bit time difference between 2 videos. There will be like a 4 hours or 5 hours gap between both the videos, because I need to edit and I need to post that video. I need to create the thumbnails and everything. So that's the time gap I need. So that's the reason. It's better to subscribe and turn on the notification. As soon as the video is posted, you should be getting the video notification there. So enough talking about all those things. Let me open all the important tabs, and I'm going to continue from there, because I don't want to show you every timing here. So I just want to open every tab, and I'm going to go through all the information. So here I opened every important tab like a website and everything. So now let's go through one by one here. So the browser, so just type in like about support to get all the information of the distro and some browser information here. So the browser version you get is 131.0.2. So the latest version I already mentioned in the beginning, which is 132, is the stable Firefox version. I think 132 or 133 right now. So the distribution ID, it says PSI Linux. So the Linux kernel you get is the 6.6, which is the long-term version. So let me open the Linux kernel website. Just type in like a Linux kernel, and the first link will be obviously the official website itself. I'm using a VPN, so there will be some different languages. Try to ignore all those things. So the 6.6, as you can see, here is the long-term version. So let's go to the about support. So here you can see the same 6.6. So you get the long-term version. So here is like a mainline, stable, long-term, Linux Next, everything. So if you don't know what it is, then here is all the description of whatever it is called. So the long-term version, here is the description about the RC or the pre-patch. It's a release candidate. Here is the mainline, and here is the stable version. So the 6.6 is the long-term version released on 2023, and the end of life will be 2026. And in order to get the kernel information, you just need to type in like a uname-r, and you should be getting the kernel information. So there is no NeoFetch pre-installed or INXI pre-installed here. So it's an independent Linux distribution. So that's some information about the Linux kernel. Now let's go through all the other things. So the OS theme, it says Advaita on the both the sides. And also when you're using the keyboard, try to figure out all the keyboard. There will be all the changes. When you type in like a semicolon, it will be opening some different symbols. So you need to try to get all the information on your own. Use the keyboards. When you're trying this Linux distribution in the live boot, all the keyboard things will be completely different. When installing, try to choose the quality instead of some different things. So these are all some basic things I want to mention here. And about the RAM, which I already mentioned, the available is 7.7 GB. I'm using 8 GB of RAM, but the available is 7.7 GB. And about the disk space available, 3.6. So here is some browser information which is clearly unnecessary for the video. If anything is important, just pause the video and read everything. Like other things here. Here is the Mesa and LLVM pipe. Mesa version is 24.2.4, and here is the LLVM. When you scroll it down, you should be also seeing it again. And window protocol is of Wayland instead of X11. So you get the latest. Desktop environment is KDE Plasma desktop environment. Here is the Mesa information. Here is my present monitor resolution. Here are some other things. So if anything is important, like I already said, if anything is important, just pause the video and read everything. Let me close this because we got all the information. So in order to go to the official website, just type in like a PSI Linux, and first link will be obviously the official website. If you're using the Google search engine, then there it will be the first link. But if you use some other search engines, then it will be down in the link. So it's better to go with the official website. Use the link like a psilinux.org. Use the English, because if you want to read everything in the English, it's better to go with the English, because if you don't know Turkish, then you need to go with the English. So here is all the information. Like if you are new with the PSI Linux, here is all the description of whatever it is called, what is all the uses from this distribution. So here you should be getting all the information like what you can do with this distribution. So here are all the information. And about the blog, you can go with the blog. Let's go with the blog here. So you should be seeing the link or the specific version, which is PSI Linux 2.4 will be here in the Turkish language. So I changed it to the English here. So here is the code name. I don't know what it is, how it is pronounced, but I'm going to call it just like a Karagül. And here is all the information. Inspired by the rare flower of Anatolia, PSI Linux is against I don't know what's against its user with version 2.4 Karagül. This special and unique version, such as Anatolia's mysterious flower Karagül, was designed to provide, which is unnecessary. So PSI New Linux 2.4 is strengthening with the latest version. So the main things we want to read here is you get the latest KDE Plasma 6. This version promises a more contemporary, rich and efficient desktop experience by bringing everything which is unnecessary. We need the Wayland. So I already showed you the Wayland, window protocol in the browser about support. And Qt6 applications, here is the Qt version 6.7.3. Thanks to its performance, which is set by every of the Linux distro developers. So we don't need any of these things. We just need this information, like you get the 6.2 KDE Plasma, which is the latest version. You get the 6.6 LTS kernel. Qt6 version is 6.7.3. Frameworks, you get the 6.7.0 and KDE Plasma 6.2.0. So these are all the main changes. I already showed you everything, so you got all the information before the release notes. So this is all the information. But when you go to the download, so I'm going to show you the main thing here. Let me click on the download. And about the system requirements, there is no information right now about the system requirements. So this is how it's performing in the live boot or in the virtual machine. But when you are trying to install this distribution in the hard disk or virtual disk, it's going to be having like a 300-400 MB of difference in the RAM, and CPU is pretty much 6.2, so it's going to be performing like a KDE Plasma. So you need to go with this thing like how much the KDE Plasma desktop environment will consume the resources. Then that will be the same system requirements for the PSI Linux. Just leave a bit more there. So if you ask me, it's 2024, then you need to have like at least a 4 GB of RAM, 2 GHz per dual core processor, and 30-40 GB of hard disk. So in order to run like a 70-80% of Linux distros, you need to have this much of resources. But if you have like a low-end PC, though, there is no need to worry about anything. You can go with the lightweight Linux distributions. You don't need to worry to buy new things here, because Linux distributions is mainly made for the old computers and for the low-end PC. So you don't need to worry about any of the distributions. You should be getting all the latest applications when you go with the lightweight distributions, and also the latest kernels will be also given in the lightweight distributions. So if you don't know what are the lightweight distributions, I made like a plenty of videos, like almost 3000 videos. I covered every type of distributions. If you don't want to don't want to watch my videos, you can just use the AI tools. Just type in like give some lightweight Linux distributions. It's going to provide like a few Linux distributions, and you should be good. You don't need to worry about you don't need to watch everyone's video. You can just use the AI tools to get all the information. So that's some information about the lightweight. So here is the download links. When you go with the United States with the SourceForge link, so that's the SourceForge link from the United States mirror. So when you go here, you should be seeing that the file could not be found. It's not available. So that's the thing you see, and you should be getting the older versions here. I don't know why. Maybe the SourceForge removed it, or the PSI Linux removed. I don't know what's the reason. But when you download from the official mirror, you can download the 2.4. So this is how I downloaded. So here is our file, 2.4 GB. So it's better to do your research. I don't know why they are removed. If the SourceForge removed, then it's better to stay away from the distribution. But if they removed the PSI Linux removed, then it's okay. So get all the information. If you're satisfied, then go with the installations, or else you can choose the KDE Neon to get the latest desktop environment, which is 6.2. You don't need to go with the PSI Linux. You can just go with the KDE Neon, because KDE.org website is official and is from a lot of years, so you can easily trust from them. Or else you can choose another distributions which has KDE Plasma desktop environment. Basically, you don't get any of the changes or anything, just some visual changes and some features added. You can customize on your own. You don't need to go with some random distributions. So if you get all the information, if it's worthy, then go with the installation, or else you can just skip this distribution and go with another distributions. So there is no need to stick to specific distributions, because we have a lot of distributions available in the Linux market. There are a lot of lightweight distributions. They have a lot of look wise, feature wise, and also the stable wise. There is like support wise, there are good Linux distributions available. You can go with the Lubuntu if you want to go with the low end. If you have like a low end PC, go with the Lubuntu, or like a desktop environment which has like a XFCE, OpenBox, JWM. There are a lot of distributions which provide this type of desktop environments, and go with those type of distributions. If you didn't try, if you think this is like a privacy, if you think there is like a privacy issue with these distributions, go with a lot of other distributions. you don't need to worry about the just sticking with these distributions. So it's better to do all the research. If you're satisfied, then go with the installations or just skip this distribution. So here are all the information we got from the browser and also from the official website. So those were the main changes. Other than that, I don't think there is nothing here, but I'm going to show you the installer here. Let's double click on the installer. So this is the wallpaper you get. I don't know, they give like a black and white theme instead of some colorful theme. It's okay, their wish. So here is like a desktop environment installer. So here you should be having some, there are few languages available here, not a major languages, but there are important languages available here. You don't get a bunch of languages, you just get some basic things, release notes, and here is some, I don't know why they give the turn off restart computer just on the installer. There is already every options right here. So some weird things. Okay, no problem. So here is some information. Let's click on next. And before installing Pisi Linux on your computer, please read and accept the terms of free open source license of the software included in the installation medium. So here is the license text. Get all the information. Click next. Here is the keyboard layout. I'm going to choose the English. Here is the test layout. Again, everything is same installation. There is nothing complicated in the Linux distributions. Just create an account and next it will be taking 15 to 20 minutes and you're going to be installing the Pisi Linux. So if you're satisfied, then go with the installation or else just skip this distribution. So I'm just going to close the installation because I want to see other things like a desktop and wallpapers and some desktop features, so we can end the video. So again, those were the main changes which I already mentioned. Other than that, there is literally no change. Some wallpaper change, just a single wallpaper. Other than that wallpaper, you get same KDE Plasma desktop wallpapers. Nothing change here. And about the volume, I don't know it's working or not. Screen brightness, here is the screen brightness, most recent drives, internet connections, power management. So I can show you the volume, but it's going to mess up my OBS recordings. I don't know why there is like an issue with the VMware. Whenever I try to touch the volume rockers or volume options in the virtual machine, it's going to mess up my audio recording in the OBS. I don't know why it's happening. It's going to mess like a 30, not the 30 seconds. It will be messing like a 10-15 seconds. So I don't want to ruin that. So here are all the desktop features. Other than that, it's everything like a KDE Plasma desktop environment. So here is like a YALI group rescue. So here is the rescue. I'm going to exit. And other than that, I don't think there is literally anything here. So I'm going to open some applications and I'm going to see whether the distro will handle the stress test. Because when you open a few applications, we can guess how much the RAM and CPU will be going. So right now CPU is right around like 80-85%. RAM is almost like a 2.1 GB. So I'm going to open a few applications. So there is like a minor hiccups here and there. There is no smooth experience from the beginning. So just like a 5-10 minutes was good. Other than that, it completely has some minor lag here and there. Maybe because of the CPU, as you can see. So these are all the applications opening right now. The CPU will be pretty much unstable, but when we open all the applications, it should be going to again stable state. So you just need to ignore the time when we open all the applications. The CPU will be obviously going up when we open every applications at a single time. So I think let me open the LibreOffice. I think I already opened it. What else we have here? Nothing, just some basic KDE Plasma desktop applications. We have the VLC media player. So let's check the system monitor now. So let everything open and we can see whether there is a CPU issue or not. So I opened every application, so there is literally nothing in the background right now. So I think the CPU should go down right now. Let's wait for a few more seconds and see. And about the applications, view is unsupported on your system, so I'm just going to ignore it. And the history of CPU, it's pretty much unstable. So the theme is like a good, like a black and gray. So it's for the people who like the dark themes. So this is a good look. So it's not the basic, it's just a kind of different. So the KDE Plasma has some colors, but this distro is a bit different here. So that's a good thing for the looks. Other than the looks, you should be seeing all the things running here. So 3.1, 3.2 GB is the RAM. CPU is pretty much 30-40%. So it went down to the again like a 30-40%. So that's okay. So let's try to switch the applications now, whether we see any crashes or anything. So till now I didn't see any lag or any crash. So there is like a minor lag. If you talk about the lag, there is like a minor lag. Other than that, there is no issues. And I already said the ISO file was removed from the source file, so get that information. And other than that, there is nothing right now. Let's check the about the applications and we can end the video. About the LibreOffice, you get the 24.2.5.2. And about the system, we already saw everything. And here is the browser. I already showed you the browser version. And about the Dolphin, you already know how to customize the Dolphin file manager. So I'm not going to show you everything. 24.08.2. Here you can customize. Here you can change the preference. You can configure. So same basic things because KDE Plasma desktop environment. Update issue. There was an issue during the update for installation process. Please try again later. See the technical details. So here is how it's performed. About the VLC media player, the version you get is 3.0.21. So the live credentials or the live password for the live boot is just LIVE. So the username will be Pisi Linux and the password is just LIVE. So here is the history. Here are all the processes. So I'm going to show you the logout screen and I'm going to end the video. So these are all the processes running right now. So let me close all the things. Let's go to the logout screen. Logout. So you should be getting some pop-up like logging out in 27 seconds. 5 other users are currently logged in. If the computer is shut down or restarted, those users may lose work. So I'm going to log out. So the password is LIVE. So here is the session, which is Wayland and X11. So default will be the Wayland. If you want to choose the X11, you can choose it here. So the password is LIVE. So the username is PSI or Pisi. You can call it whatever you want, however you want to pronounce it. So that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. If you loved this video, then like this video. And other than that, there is literally nothing. Thanks for watching. Peace out.